So happy to see you. We are joined as always by Greg Engert, Beer Director for the Neighborhood Restaurant Group, a Food and Wine Sommelier of the Year. The group includes, in Georgetown, the Sovereign. And then in Old Town, you've got Vermilion and Columbia Firehouse. Greg, great to see you.
You too.
What do we have on tap this week?
This week we have an admittedly quite rare beer from Alesong Brewing and Blending up in Eugene, Oregon, from your kind of neck of the woods. Willamette Valley. These guys are making incredible stuff. It's Brian and Doug Coombs, Matt Van Wyk. Together they are producing very small batches of farmhouse style beers, mostly a lot of barrel aged stuff, a lot of mixed fermentation, mostly 750 milliliters. This is Saison Du Vin 2016, so it was bottled last fall. And it is an incredible beer. We'll taste it and talk about it a little bit more, but a mixed fermentation beer, aged in King Estate Pinot Noir barrels primarily, blended and then finished with muscat grapes, also from Willamette.
Does that translate to wine saison?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the saison of wine, from wine. Yeah. Okay. So, Sarver Winery muscat grapes, which are off dry, bring on a richness on the palate, great tropical fruit qualities. It's almost toasty, and then finishes dry in the finish.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a style quite like this. You said toasty. The first word that came to my mind, and this may not be quite right, is creamy.
Yeah.
But still with a little tang. Wow.
Yeah, little tang, creamy. It's still effervescent and bright. Definitely an intersection of wine and beer, which is what any of the beers they're making out there are going for. Matt comes from Oakshire Brewing Company in Oregon, but before that he was at Flossmoor Station in Illinois, did a lot of great stuff with barrel aging. And then, they're obviously surrounded by amazing wine country, and incorporating wine barrels and wine fruit here is a phenomenal thing. They only release 4 or 5 different beers each season, so they're kind of like a winery. This is from the fall 2016 season. And while I said it's pretty hard to find unless you're in the Pacific Northwest, and even there it can be tough, they do send a little bit out to us here in DC, and you can possibly get an allocation from them direct. So if you go online to their website, depending on where you are, you may be able to buy beer from Alesong directly.
You mean as a private citizen?
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I believe so. Now that changes state by state, so don't quote me on it, but check out their website, take a look. They make small batches of beer, and especially if you have some friends up in Oregon, they can, or Seattle, they can grab some for you. Really cool stuff.
Very nice. And Alesong, I think we've done one of theirs before.
I don't think so.
No, none?
Yeah, because we just got beer from them for Savor this past year. Okay. We did recently something from Casey Brewing and Blending out in Colorado, which is kind of a similar idea of small batch, lots of blending, lots of fruits and herbs from the local region and things like that. But
Alesong, beer song. I like the song.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were talking about Founders a couple weeks ago, which with some investors is looking at, you said possibly 1 million barrels of beer a year. How does that compare to these guys?
I think they're doing, I'm maybe not exactly on, but I don't think they're doing any more than maybe 1,000 barrels.
Yeah.
And for this release, it's 200 cases. That's it.
And what's mind-boggling is you can have great quality beer at 1 million barrels.
Or at 1,000. Yeah. It's so interesting, and that's what in Sierra Nevada, Ken Grossman, they've always kind of prescribed to that. It's like beer, unlike wine, grain, barrels, yeast, water, as long as you put it, you're passionate and your passion never ceases, and everybody else who's helping you, because obviously 3 people can't make 1 million barrels, have that same passion, there is no reason that you can't scale greatness. And it's a really cool thing. When you're talking about Willamette Valley Pinot Noir, there's only so much great juice out there to make greatness, and so it can't scale. And so really, great beer can be for the masses. It's kind of harder for that to happen with wine.
Very nice. What would you pair this with?
Well, so this to me has that kind of off-dry, slightly sweet white wine quality to me. And the effervescence reminds me of like sparkling muscat wine or something like that. So I was thinking of things that sparkling wine goes great with. Things like fried chicken, I think this would be fantastic with. Digging richness, brightening it up. The tropical fruit reminded me, I started thinking of like pepperoni pizza, almost like a Hawaiian pairing that you could do there. Rosemary chicken's fantastic. I've done this with like linguine and clam sauce, also really tasty. And just like simply seared scallops would be crazy good.
Thank you. As always,
Thank you.
everyone, please always do drink responsibly and be sure to bring your thirst next time for another Beer of the Week.